John Kofi Boahen.
Mr. John Cooney,
Samuel, remember? It's not one-on-one conversation.
Mr. John
Mr. John
Kofi Boahen.
Kofi Boahen.
Yes. I was born in Ghana, West Africa, and I went to school in Atlanta, Georgia. I also, at the age of 10 years old, I was taken to England. And please bear with me, no Q&As, please. Listen to the story. Just listen, and that's all. We'll have Q&As later.
Questions and answers later.
And at the age of 10 years old, we were my family, well, after a coup d'etat in Ghana, I was taken to London to go to school. I was sent into what we call an asylum. An asylum is where political dissidents from different regions, parts of the world, go in as refugees. So I lived as a refugee in London for a good 6 years. While I was there, I attended 3 different schools: Finchley, Deptford Green, and of course, the school that I graduated from, which was St. Thomas the Apostles. So dare to say that I was on the, I grew up studying the Roman Catholic ideas of classical studies, which was pretty much a comprehensive studies in academia. What does a comprehensive study mean? It means that we were taught general knowledge: philosophy, religion, math, chemistry, biology, physics, geography, electronics, and pretty much anything else you can find under the sun that falls under academia. Okay? But one of my favorite subjects that I always took and I could always remember a class in was art. It was taught by a gentleman, a teacher by the name of Mr. Robinson. He had a very charismatic character, sort of punkish, rebel, but he was very engaging with the students, and I always remember how engaging, how intuitive he was for me, and he sparked my imagination. I used to sit in his class and just soak up so much because he really focused in on me. And in any other class that I go to, I couldn't even wait to get back into his class, and I felt like that was my world. Excuse me.
Yeah, by the way, that's the second time. You have a paper, you have a plate, just hold it. He said he will talk for 15 minutes. He's intense about it. Let's give him the 15 minutes out of respect. He has a very good information. So just keep trash for 15 minutes is not going to damage you. Thank you.
Thank you. And the reason why we're doing this, in my opinion, is getting you guys to sit still, because I know that you're the digital generation. And attention span runs rapid. You guys got to have everything done. If you think of an idea, and this is another concept I'm going to concentrate on, it's called ideas. If you think of an idea, your body wants to act on it. Well, one of the things that we have to understand is within a democracy, just because you have an idea, what I've learned is that you don't necessarily have to exercise it, because you have to have what? Consent from other people. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Obey for the law. The law is you. You guys create the laws. The United States government is actually made by the people of the land, you guys. And one of the things I was telling you earlier is that, I'm very much a strong proponent and advocate of citizens participating in the governmental process in order to govern themselves. Because more than anything that I've learned, having been in this country, is that I hear a lot of people chatter about being abused, having their rights taken away and what have you, and 9 out of 10, they don't even know their rights. They don't know what rights that got taken away. They don't know what rights got violated. Oh, I lost my 5th Amendment. Well, it could have been the First Amendment. It's my 13th Amendment. I'm like, well, okay. Because why? They know something has been violated, but they just don't know how to interpret it. And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about within the presentation. Again, back to the school. Why was the school important to me? Because it set the foundation for me to know at least if I straddle away from my values or my ideas or my creativity, I had a foundation of something that I was working from. It's not empirical. The word empirical means fact. It's not something that's concrete, but it's something that's a base for me to start from. And being here in a community center, you know, to me is a very, very powerful thing because it was a rec center after school when I left there that allowed me to blossom as an artist and as a thinker. Because if it wasn't for the rec center where I could play games, I could shoot pool, I could play, you know, card games. I learned how to play chess and checkers there. There was so many different games that helped me in life to think rationally and also to engage with people. And that's what you guys are learning. You're learning how to be friends away from school in an after-school program in a community center that allows you to, one, get some food. Because let me tell you something, between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, in my opinion, for any child, when your parents are just worn out at work and they want to get home, they would like their daughters and their sons to be in a safe environment while they stretch out their days to make what? The extra 3 or 4 hours count. And so having a community center like this is especially, you know, if it's in a community where you guys are paying rent in, it's a very, very important thing. Because not only do you respect the environment that you're in, but when you step outside, guess what? You're going to take care of the community center. And it's a very, very powerful thing. That's what I was telling you about democracy. The word demo or democracy means many, plural. Okay? And you guys constitute the governing body of this place. Whether you know it or not, you have rules and you exercise them. When you walk in here, you know, there's a rule for knowing where you're going to sit. You have already established that because I see everybody's always what? Sitting in the same place. Number 2, you know, you have rules to know where you hang your bag. So it's all orderly, and it gives you a consented, you know, flow of events. So when you come in here, within that 3 hours, you're doing what? You're getting in and out, and you have some type of semblance of structure. Now, the other creatures in the world, they have their rules. Ants have rules. It's based on chemicals. One ant will lead off and leave little traces of chemicals behind them. Before you know it, you see a line of ants. That's called chemical communication. All right? Who can tell me, with one hand, please, what do flies use to, what's the dominant senses in flies? Yes, sir.
Echolocation.
Sorry?
Echolocation.
Echo. Well, echo sound. No, it's visual. It's visual.
Smell.
No, visual.
Oh.
So that means that how many senses do you have as a human being? 5. 5 senses. And the only sense that I'm concerned about today is your intuitive sense, which is your sixth sense, which is a combination of what? All your peripheral organs creating information from the environment and then bringing it inside of you and then formulating you, the person. Who you are within 7 years will change. Another 7 years, you'll change. Based on the education, the intensity that you give to education. So practice and training is very, very crucial. That's why we work so hard to try and get you to resolve yourself and start focus on paying attention. Because if you cannot pay attention to each other, you can't communicate. That's why I was so glad when the idea of quietness was brought up in an arena, because let me tell you something. When you've got a forum where everybody tries to share their ideas one time, it becomes chaotic and nothing gets done. Whoever's seen political channels where people are arguing? It's very chaotic, right? Nothing is done. But if you go into an orderly environment where everybody's given time to speak and then another time to retort or give back questions, it makes for a much more smoother democratic process or even democratic engagement. So, before we do any further talking, I want to go and show you what I learned from learning how to do what? Focus. I did all of that to tell you that all those training in physics, chemistry, biology, it taught me how to focus because the information would not go into my mind if I didn't learn how to focus. And how many hours do you think it takes to become a master of something? You already said it.
10 years?
10 years. Close, but I said hours.
200 hours?
Okay?
10 hours?
No. Yes, ma'am.
10 hours?
No. Let me save you the time. 10,000 hours. Oh, you were? I'm so sorry I robbed you of your victory, man, because I know you would have just loved to take that with you. But there's a system that I was trying to tell you in England that I picked up. It was the apprenticeship to master system. And when I came to America, I was quite shocked that they didn't have it, but I knew why. You know, to be an apprentice, it means that you spend 7 years listening and following behind somebody. Then you spend another 3 years wandering around the country, applying your knowledge. And then after that, somebody gives you a degree of mastery, or you feel like you become a master. And so I've been on that journey myself, and I think that 3-4 years ago, I've reached a level of mastery in my craft, but then I've taken on other crafts. So the first craft that I think I mastered was the ability to communicate in 3 different forms, because I believe that there's 3 forms of communication. I call it languages. The first language is what? Verbal speaking. The other language is reading, well, writing, comprehension, and what have you, which mathematics falls under that. All right. The third language is visual, which is drawing, which also falls into art. So there's 2 types of sciences. There's liberal science and there's the natural science. I've applied my trade in both sides. So I think both in right brain and left brain. So right now, I would love to encourage you guys to think not only in right brain, which is the logical side, mathematics, science, memory, you know, total recall, you know how to spell, you know how to do stuff, but then the creative side. Oh, that's where the non-literal stuff comes in, you know, where people think you're lying, but you're not. You're making up something. That's very, very powerful. That's where your imagination resides. That's a part of you that I don't want you to ever give up. Because that's the most, Einstein said it. As much as he knew, his imagination is the most powerful thing that he really wanted to actually cultivate, and it's the most powerful thing in every human being. And I believe that. I think imagination takes you anywhere by sitting still. And that's what I was telling you about the power of dreams. I dream a lot, and I try to remember my dreams, and I put it down on paper. So it allows me to express myself. And then people come around and say, Kofi, who are you? And I said, well, let me show you by doing this. This is who I am. This is one form of expression for me. Okay? This is a B-17 hanger. It took me about, close to 10 to 12 hours to draw. But I go a little further. I also went into fashion because I like to wear clothes. And so, don't worry, once we finish, everybody could come in and have a private gander, meaning that take turns to flip them over. I'll leave them on the table. But if it wasn't for mathematics, I would not know geometry. I started drawing with just 4 different shapes. A straight line, a circle, a triangle, and a square. That's it. Everything you see here is based on those 4 geometric shapes. This, and now you may see I use nothing but what? Pen and Sharpie. So you guys are in the digital world, so I know how powerful computers are. But without this particular form of medium to help computers or even photos be taken, people won't see this. To me, this is one of the most tedious, detailed way of processing art or getting your ideas out. Nowadays, we use cameras and just say, hey, just take a picture and just go. It's another form of image printing or what have you. But let's skim through them quickly. You can say ooh and ah and clap if you need to, you know. Thank you. Thank you. Most of these pictures mean a lot to me. You know why? In December of last year, December 23rd, I decided to do what? To draw. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's a
It's a little heavy this size.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yes. Yeah. So what I did was, within 34 days, I woke up every morning at 5:30 or 3:30 in the morning, and what would I do? I'll grab my tablet and I'll go to work. And I'll work until I finish the job. And I did that for 34 straight days, and I did 30 different pieces. And every day, I'll take a picture every 2 hours and put it on Facebook to let people know that I like to draw, and this is another way the creative process comes out of me. So these are all examples of that. And that was the first picture I started with. That's Miss Lupita. She was voted the most beautiful woman in the world by People magazine. And I did that a month before she got the award. I did that December 23rd. And of course, who likes fashion? Yes. I'm also into fashion. I do clothes, I do a bunch of stuff. And right now, I have a clothing line. And one of the things that I'm doing is using graphic of my original work And I'm learning how to basically develop a company by learning not just the art side, but also the business side. The business side is very, very important because you could have great creative ideas, but if you don't know the business how to basically organize them and get them out to the public, people like yourself, you see the shirts that you got on? Somebody designed it and somebody put prints on them. And it's called merchandising. So your parents could buy them for you. We've got adult sizes and kid sizes. So this, I'm on that journey right now.
This is kids.
Yes. And of course, a continuation of that. These are all prints that I'm going to be used, but they're the first stages of my design. Okay. All right. This is, of course, an Ethiopian guy, or what? Is an original man. Where would you find a gentleman like this? Africa. So, I did a whole piece on that. We're going to talk about that theme. And this is the front face of a Mustang. And these are some of the types of designs that we're going to be working on for the company. They're called intuitive gear or memory clothes. Who knows what's coming out next year or next 10 years in fashion? Especially with wearable technologies and cool gears and what have you. Yes, sir.
In 2015, iPhone 7.
Yes.
Do we wear that?
What you guys gonna get engaged in the next coming years? You got wearable technology, you know, watches that talk back to you, clothes that change temperature and gives you information about your mood swings, and you know you could play around if you're walking and running and jogging. All these infometrics are gonna come into use. So guess what? We're targeting that, and of course, I love ballet. I love theater. So. I think the human body is a very powerful and dynamic, vessel. It's a tool. It's a powerful tool. Because if you can run fast, you can get an award for that. You can make a lot of money. If you can jump high, you can play basketball, you can do high jumps, what have you. It's another form of performance. And athletics is another way where people could go into that field and do what? Make money. But it's not just, for sport. You can do other things too. Like if you keep yourself healthy and become beautiful, and people will pay you for being what? Beautiful. Right?
Yeah.
So eating well and keeping pimples off your face by not eating junk food, all right? And keeping your skin all moist and pretty. Guess what happens? When you grow older, people pay you just to pose. Yes, you get thousands of dollars, millions of dollars just to look good. Yes, ma'am.
How about that picture over there? What does it represent?
Ah! Thank you. The word represent. What does it represent to the artist? Oh my gosh. It means so much to an artist when people ask him, what does that represent? Then they go into this smorgasbord of, stuff. But with me, what it represents is this, right? If I was to meet a beautiful woman like this at a bar, as a man, I just step up and say, hey, how you doing? Like your hair? And she might give me a phone number. And then we might go out on a date. My convertible. But guess what? It represented a very beautiful picture that I saw, and I thought she was very, 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 how should I say, serene, and isn't she cute? Isn't she pretty?
No.
You don't think she's pretty?
Her hair, yes. Her hair is just beautiful like anything.
So you're shattering the dreams of my... Oh, man. Yes, ma'am.
I like it.
Thank you. Somebody with... Thank you. You have taste.
I don't think it. Yes, no.
Thank you, man. Haters.
I'm a hater. I kind of like it. Awesome. I'll give you the inspiration of drawing that picture.
I just told you. I was hoping that one day I might run into a airport.
She said that was thank you. I like your nails. I'm joking.
But she may not.
I'm joking. What the?
Hey, watch your mouth. Now this really is my dedication to aging. You guys don't have any wrinkles in your face, but guess what? People spend millions of dollars every year to try to keep their face from wrinkling. Yes, plastic surgery, whatever. Me personally, I'm all about age showing the tracks of your tears. I feel like your face gives a roadmap to people to see what type of sorrow, what type of joy. Because if you smile a lot, guess what? You're still going to have a wrinkle. Right. And so if you have a very nice smiley face, then you can see it. So what I do is I walk around smiling every day because I don't want to be old looking like this. You know? So being an artist, I know that it's very iconic. Your face, cause your face and your eyes are the windows to your soul. So that's why I keep telling you, have a positive attitude. Because no matter what's going on in your life, guess what? It will pass. It's just how you feel about things. And art does that. Art is supposed to what? Change your mood. You see? And it's supposed to change your mood. And by having art change your mood and keep you upbeat, guess what? When you step outside and somebody's mean to you, you could just brush it off. Because all it is just, it will pass. I mean, no, are you believing? Is anybody dying? No. So guess what? Information and communication, like, it'll be all right. Yes, ma'am? You got your arms up.
Oh, it was from the other picture with the woman in the glasses. I have two things about to say about that.
Yes, ma'am.
I really like the picture because it's like what's it called? It might have took you forever, and you just like did it bit by bit and did all of that by yourself.
Good point. Let me tell you why. Because we just got to this picture. This is by far the longest picture that I worked on. It took me 32 straight hours. I sat still for 32 straight hours, and you guys can't even sit still for 5 straight minutes.
Yeah,
You see? And 32 straight hours of using a fine tip pen, so just like the ones you got, and I created dots. It's called dot matrix in computers. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't there only 24 hours a day?
Yeah, but I went beyond that. I couldn't sleep. No, I couldn't sleep. I was excited. It's like a journey. I want to see it finish. It's a challenge. And as long art does that to you, you forget about time and space. You don't care about where you at when you're drawing because you're not inside of your head. That's why I was trying to tell you, understand this. Please, put your hand down. Focus on this. There's 2 things that you're working with. Your mind and your body. And when you're looking at something, you see somebody, oh, we're here for 3 hours. But guess what you're always with? You're inside of your mind. You're always thinking about something, right? Right?
Yeah.
Do you go home and take your brains out of your head and put it away?
No.
Right. So that's why I'm telling you that absolutely. When you are doing something that you love, guess what? Time doesn't exist. Space doesn't matter where you are. So most actors on stage, do you know why they never they don't have any stage fright? Because they have a way of channeling and ignoring the audience. And they take themselves and transport themselves into that character. And they hold themselves in that character like, Romeo, wherefore do I, Romeo, that's Juliet. For it is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Dig it, I got a fan back there. But that's acting. Be able to disconnect from people that's around you, and you can perform for them. So I know something. When you guys come here every day, you always act and try to show off in front of your friends. That's one of the principal things that being in a community really does. It makes you bond with each other and show each other your different multiple personalities because they're very colorful. I've noticed that some of you have different mood swings, you know, different, in the back, she has this thing where her eyes just gives off beautiful crystal delight. Crystal delight, meaning that she basically has things popping out of her eyes. And, you know, that's her personality. Yes, that's her personality. And so let's glean through it so we can go through it. Now, of course, this is called night and day. I have 2 cars in my mind. One for the day, which is taking kids out, going out to the wilderness,